guys, this is Brett, and welcome back to episode 22 of Hard Lessons.
Sweet. We aged by a week.
We did. Amazing how that happened.
Yeah.
Although this week feels like it was more than just 1 week.
Like a month packed into a week.
Indeed.
We were kind of busy.
It was crazy busy. So how was your week, Teach?
It was a good week. It really was. I can honestly say I don't remember a lot of it.
Shocker.
Only because it was the end of the college course. So scrambling to get all that, what do you call it? Turned in. I had to get all that turned in. Submitted, that's the word, submitted. And then all the stuff for my regular life. You know, it's kind of hectic. I did enjoy my mental health day I took on Friday.
I bet you did.
I worked, but at least I was home.
There you go. Got to rest and relax and work from here.
Yeah, I did get to sleep in. So, you know, that was a plus.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And I know your week was full of days off, intermittent days off, and uh-ohs at work, and boo-boos, and...
Exactly, but we made it through it.
Yep.
Yeah, we made it through it.
We're going to hit another week.
Hit it hard.
Yep. Because in 3 weeks, I have a week off. Yes.
I have tomorrow off for President's Day.
Nanner.
Or Monday off for President's Day.
Yeah, Monday off. There you go.
Yeah. So, well, good deal. Well, before we get started.
Yes.
Even before we do the more you know, somebody forgot to give me a grade after last week's conclusion of the Toy Box Killer.
I did. I'm glad you remembered because I still forgot.
I almost forgot.
That one piqued my interest. So you get an A on that one, an A plus actually.
Yay! That's my first A plus on a true crime story.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm glad you're keeping up.
My other A pluses came from, one came from a cryptid, and others came from paranormal. That you was like, okay, I'm still, the Dybbuk box.
Yes.
I got an A plus on, and I believe there was another one. I can't remember her name, but the young lady in Canada that was possessed and bad things kept happening to her house. She gave me an A plus on that one also.
About the Dybbuk box. Oh my gosh, that still freaks me out.
You bought a Dybbuk?
No, about.
Oh, I thought you said I bought a bout. Okay.
No. I was going to bring up what I saw the other day. Somebody is having a garage sale somewhere, and this beautiful box-looking thing on legs, and I yelled out, "No! Dybbuk!"
There's something trapped inside there. I just know it.
And then I realized I was at home by myself. So, but anyway, that's how much that thing has affected me. I'm like, no, I ain't buying no jewelry box. I'm not buying nothing with a box that you have to open or unlock from a garage sale.
Yeah, especially if it's locked.
Exactly. Or we're going to have, Jeremy come over and we're going to lay hands on it and pray. And then somebody else can open it. Like, scary.
That reminds me of our amazing friend Lainey, who has made the shirts. And if y'all have seen photos of the shirts on Facebook and you want one, reach out to either Deanna or I, and we will get you Lainey's information to order you one.
Heck yeah, they're pretty cool. I need to wear mine.
So
I can wear it tomorrow to work.
There you go. Free advertisement.
Heck yeah. Then they would ask, and I'll be like, well, this is what we do on the weekends.
This is how we roll.
Yep.
But she messaged me and said, I'm playing catch up, and I got to the episode of the Dybbuk box, and I was listening to it. I was home alone. And when you got to the part where you were talking about how it started messing with the electricity inside that home and how it crashed that brand new computer, she said, the lights inside my house started flickering. And I was like, whoop!
Pause. Let's move on.
Yeah. Our Father which art in heaven.
I mean, that stuff's real, and I get it. I'm not ever discounting that there is bad things on earth, ever.
Yeah. I
am just not going to mess around with that.
I don't believe I will either.
Please don't send us a box. Please don't send us... Not that we get anything from anybody, except for Lainey.
And our bell.
I don't want a box. A wooden box. Pretty, because I don't know anything about it.
Exactly.
But thank you for the thoughts.
So you got a more you know for us?
Oh, yes. I was wondering why my phone was sitting in front of me. Okay, so this is the needless fact that we all need to file into our brain cabinet.
We might end up on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire one day, and this might be the $1 million question.
It very well could be. Although, I don't know, but, who knows? Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Ketchup originated in China as a fish-based sauce. Then it was picked up by the British and made into a mushroom-based sauce. And finally picked up by the Americans and made into a tomato-based sauce. I had no idea that it originated back to China.
I didn't either.
It doesn't have a date on there, but I'm really hoping it's true.
Well, that proves to me one thing. America is the smartest country in the world. I mean,
yes.
Who wants fish-based ketchup?
Ugh, people who eat a lot of fish. Got one more for you.
Oh, a double.
A double. Okay, I've totally forgot this dude's name, but that's okay. The inventor of Vaseline was such a firm believer in the medicinal properties that he claimed to have eaten a spoonful of it a day. During a bout of pleurisy in his 50s, he ordered his nurse to cover him from head to toe in the substance, and soon recovered. He lived to be 96. So Vaseline has a lot of healing properties in it.
That is awesome. I did not know that.
It's weird. Like, what really got my interest was a spoonful of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's oil. Like, why in the... Maybe it oiled him from inside out. Maybe he didn't have any problems with,
I bet you he was never constipated.
Is what I'm saying. With all that oil, it just slipped on out.
Just bloop.
I don't know that that's polite to talk about, but...
I hope nobody's eating breakfast while listening to this, and we're talking about plooping.
That's a new word for it.
I have a quick story about Vaseline from my cop days. Actually, this was pre-cop in the police academy. And so my dad's best friend, Jimmy Adams.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Sheriff. He was a police officer for close to 40 years. And so while I was going through the academy, he was always giving me advice, always carry this with you on patrol, always carry that. And so one of the things that he told me to always carry with me is Vicks, because if you come across a person that has been deceased for a while and you don't want to continually smell that smell, you take your Vicks and just wipe it underneath your nose real nice and thick. And so that way it covers up the smell. So fast forward a few months, we're sitting in the academy. One of the teachers is going over stuff like this with us, saying, hey, blah, blah, blah. You need to make sure you carry this with you. You need to make sure you carry that with you. And so then he posed the question. You get called to a house. Nobody has seen the neighbor for 3 or 4 days. It's the middle of summer. Their mail is piling up. Newspapers are piling up in the front yard. This was back in the 90s when we would get papers delivered to us. And you go over there and you notice, things aren't right, and you can even smell the smell from outside. What is one thing you will need to carry with you? My hand shot up in the air. I was like, I know. And he said, okay, Brett. I was almost acting like Horseshack from Welcome Back, Kotter. Ooh, 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 ooh. I was so excited to answer this question. He said, okay, Brett, what is it? You need the Vaseline. Everybody busted out laughing. The instructor fell on the floor laughing. And when he pulled himself up, he said, if we work at the same department, remind me to never go on a dead call with you.
Gross.
And I was like, I mean Vicks. I got the V part right. He was like, too late.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like something you would do.
I got the V right.
You did. You tried. You should have got a grade for effort right there.
That's what I'm thinking.
But there are no ribbons.
No ribbons.
No ribbons. All right, I'm interested in this one. Ready?
I'm ready, baby.
Oops, I don't know how to ring the bell. There we go. Class is ready.
All right, so this week we are going to pay respects to our dear friend Morgan Reagan Rhodes.
Absolutely. A beautiful soul.
Oh my goodness. If you missed out on knowing her, then I am sorry. Whether you liked her or you didn't like her, or whether she liked you or you didn't like you, she was always cheering for you and wanted to see everybody do their best. And so this is for you, Morgan. Teaching I love you forever, dude.
Yep.
So Teach and I was going out to eat one night, and we were headed to my favorite Mexican restaurant here in town called Vallarta's. If you ask my dad, he calls it the Mexican food place at Pizza Hut because it used to be a Pizza Hut. But as we pulled into the parking lot, phone went ringing and looked at it, and it was Morgan. And so, of course, took the time to answer. Hey, what's going on, girl? Dude, do you know about my paranormal experience? And I said, yeah, that's the YouTube channel that Nathan Withers. Shout out to Nathan. How you doing, dude?
Hey. Pretty cool dude, too.
He is pretty cool dude. He is local here to Pampa, and has also agreed to, at some point, come on and be interviewed on an episode with Teach and I.
Nice.
So look forward to that. Nathan is a paranormal researcher. He has his own team. They go all over. And yeah, check out their YouTube channel, Nathan Withers Production, I believe. And so anyway, she asked, have you seen the documentary on the Hilson Hotel? Which the Hilson Hotel is a historical building here in downtown Pampa. And 2 years ago for our anniversary, just to kind of give you an insight of what type of people Deanna and I are, they were having a ghost tour at the Hilson Hotel led by Nathan.
And his team.
And so that's what Teach and I did for our anniversary that year.
It was so cool.
It was cool. We didn't see anything paranormal, but it was still cool. And so I told her, I haven't watched the documentary yet, but, we got to go in there and snoop around. And she was like, dude, you have got to watch it. And you have got to do an episode on your podcast about one of the guests that had stayed there before. And so I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And she said, and when you do a podcast on it, give me a shout out. So shout out, Morgan. Again, we love you. So the Hilson Hotel, it was originally called Hotel Pampa, but it only stayed that name for 3 months and then changed its name to the Johnson Hotel because the building was built by L.E. Johnson.
How come it only stayed Pampa Hotel for 3 months?
I didn't find anything. I'm thinking, Mr. Johnson was like, well, I built it. Why not name it after me?
Okay.
I don't know if that's factual or not.
Right. That's okay.
Yeah. And then also, I don't know when it switched over from Johnson Hotel to Hilson Hotel, but when we have Nathan on, that's something we can ask him.
Absolutely.
So the man that Morgan was so intrigued by that wanted us to do an episode on, he went by the name of Dr. Zita.
Dr. Zita.
He went by many names.
But that's the one he used here.
Well.
Oh, okay.
So he used Dr. Zita, but there was also, because there's proof that he stayed here, because Nathan and his team found his registry at the hotel. I mean, this place is cool. They still got all the books and everything from guests that stayed there. It closed down in the year I was born, 1971. And so from the 1920s to the 1970s, they got all these records of people that stayed there, and they found Dr. Zita's book, or his registry. He had Dr. Zita, but he also had Dr. de Orgler written there, both names.
Orgler?
Orgler, O-R-G-L-E-R. And we'll get more on that in a minute.
Okay.
He stayed there in room number 7.
Okay.
Checked in on May 5th, 1932, and the ticket number, got all this information, was number 7313 that he registered in.
Okay.
Stayed in the hotel for 10 days.
Now, was that the only ticket that they found with his name on it?
That was the only one that was on their YouTube video.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if they found more. There is information that he did stay many times here.
Okay.
So I don't know if they found them all, but this is the one that was on
the show.
on the YouTube.
Okay, the specific one. Okay.
On the documentary, yes, ma'am. So while he was here, he walked a block up north and went to the newspaper office.
Okay.
Actually, the newspaper office is a block north of it now. I don't know if that's where it was then. But
that would be something interesting to find out.
He did go to the newspaper office, and he took out an ad, and it showed this ad on the documentary also. And so in the ad, he wanted, and this is in quotes, so this is what it said, an attractive young lady assistant to leave the city, travel, semi-theatrical, call Dr. Zita, Hotel Johnson.
Okay.
So in the 1930s, it was still Hotel Johnson.
Okay.
Several women answered the ad. He would bring them back to his room. What he did from then, it's unknown. And the different manipulations he did, or if he took advantage of them, or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did any names ever pop up of these ladies?
Well, I don't know if this lady, there was an article on the documentary, and I had to hit pause several times to read it. I don't know if it was in the Pampa paper or where, but there was a lady by the name of Grace Laverne who answered one of his ads.
Okay.
Now, he didn't just come just to Pampa. He traveled small towns, pulling cons and stuff.
Oh, okay. So he's not a doctor? I mean, that's the first name he gave, like Dr.
Zita.
Zita. You would think that he would have been a doctor.
Yeah, you'd think.
But apparently that is not the case.
We'll see.
He put this ad in the Pampa paper, whatever it was called then, and several women answered it, but nobody knows who or what transpired behind closed doors.
Correct. Was he manipulating these ladies? Was he assaulting these ladies?
What did he do after that?
He would leave town.
Well, where did those ladies go?
That wasn't discussed, and I couldn't find any. I mean, that could be
Oh,
something we
okay.
again that
I'm
we
gonna
could
have to
ask Nathan.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, he. It did say in the documentary that he had unhealthy fixations.
Unhealthy fixation. So he had fetishes?
We'll just let your mind wander there. Unhealthy
Oh.
fixations.
Okay.
Um,
So he was a perv.
he was a perv. He was a stalker.
That could be an unhealthy fixation.
Yeah. He would follow women around town. He would show up, like he would get set on a woman, like
Yeah.
zone in, you might say, and follow them around town. He would, if they would go out and eat that night, he would show up at the restaurant. It didn't matter to him if they were married or not. If he zoned in on them, he zoned in on them.
What did he do? Nobody knows.
We'll leave that to the imagination.
Did he hurt these people?
No,
Oh, okay, that's what I
not
was
physically.
really going. This is what I was going for. Like, is this like a known unknown serial killer?
Well, possibly.
No
I don't know.
way. Okay.
There was never any proof that he did anything like that,
Okay.
but there was no proof that he didn't either.
Okay.
So,
So you okay?
so, so back to Grace Laverne.
Okay, Grace Laverne.
Again,
answered.
I'm not sure if this was in Pampa or somewhere else.
Okay.
He hypnotized her for 48 hours and would sell tickets to come watch her sleep, eat, just go about normal day while she was under this spell. Now, when he first hypnotized her, it was at a place called the Playmore Auditorium. Now, it could have been here in Pampa. I Googled Playmore Auditorium, and the only thing that came up was the Playmore, and it's spelled PLA-MOR. Playmore Civic Center in Nebraska. So I don't know if it was something that was here, if it was something in Nebraska.
Okay.
But this lady's name came up in the Hilson documentary.
Okay.
And so so when he hypnotized her, it was at this auditorium. Hypnotized her for 48 hours, and then when he was getting ready to bring her out of it, moved her to a furniture store in town and sold tickets to people to come watch him bring her out of this hypnotized state. And
Okay.
apparently she had no idea what had gone on during that previous 48
so he
hours.
basically kidnapped her for 2 days.
And made money off of her.
That's terrible. It's almost like a toy box thing.
Almost. And like I said earlier, there was proof that he had stayed here in Pampa on several occasions.
So there's a chance that he did that to those ladies.
Absolutely.
And then there's no record of any of it. Do you know how embarrassing that would have been for those ladies back then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Although in like the 30s, that was money.
You got to
that's
make...
Depression era, and it's not like it didn't affect people around here either.
Exactly. So who was Dr. Zita?
Exactly. Is it with an S or a Z?
Z.
Z, okay.
Dezita.
I'm thinking he's a fake.
So-
Almost up there with H.H. Holmes.
On the road.
On the road, yeah. I mean, literally, he's just a traveling version that didn't kill anybody, but
Exactly.
manipulated.
He was born William Michael Achilles de Orgler. So remember earlier it was signed Dr. Zita / Dr. de Orgler.
Yes, okay.
So he was born the last name de Orgler.
Okay.
On November 7th, 1890 in Austria.
Oh.
Flip the script. He was a small-time vaudevillain,
Okay.
a Hollywood bit player, which I was like, what's a bit player? Small roles.
Kind of like an extra.
Kind of like an extra.
Okay.
And we'll get into it in a little bit, but he did have one leading role. Or not a leading role, but a main role.
A main role.
And a con man.
Con
Which
man.
we've already talked about, one of his cons.
Yes, that poor lady.
At different times in his life, he claimed to be a captain in the French Foreign Legion,
With an Austrian accent.
an Austrian baron,
Oh my gosh.
a Romanian count, and a Moroccan mystic. So he had his hands in a little bit of everything.
Yo, preying on them gullible people.
That's right. He first showed up in the U.S. in 1914, claimed to be a Speakers Bureau representative for the National Security League. So that got me to wondering,
What the world was that?
what is the National Security League? So a Speakers representative would basically be just that. He spoke in behalf of.
Yes.
So he'd go out to these rallies. And so what is the National Security League? It was founded in 1914 by attorney Solomon Stanwood Mencken and General Leonard Linwood.
Okay.
It was an American patriotic, nationalistic, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that supported a greatly expanded military based on universal service, the naturalization and Americanization of immigrants, and government regulation of the economy to enhance national preparedness.
Okay, in a nutshell, what was it?
Let's go on before I answer that.
Okay.
Under the guise of encouraging the teaching of U.S. history, the League worked to eliminate the teaching of foreign language, especially German and Russian,
So it's a communist thing.
and it encouraged physical education in schools as a means of strengthening American manhood for war.
This is creepy. Sounds like an awful lot like other items that were happening overseas.
Kind of sounds like gave me almost Hitler vibes.
Yes, exactly.
League supporters published newspaper stories, wrote letters to the editor, alleging that labor unions, universities, some churches, especially with large German immigrant members,
Actually, yeah.
the League of Women Voters, and other organizations were under communist control.
But yet, that's what they were wanting to do. They were wanting
To have control.
have all the men be buff and ready for war to counteract all the foreign immigrants that came in. So these were some really prejudiced people.
Very. Does it amaze you that Americans would be prejudiced towards something?
No. Not the greatest country
Give us your week,
ever.
give us your, and we'll put them in physical education to help them get strong, so we can use them to kill where they're coming from.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The NSL went bankrupt in 1939
Wow, they lasted longer than what I thought.
and finally closed their doors in 1942.
I want to know some of the stuff they got into.
Well, that could almost be another episode. I'm just giving you kind of a nutshell of them here.
I'm like some bad, weird stuff.
Absolutely.
It sounds like a pyramid scheme. Like they were the bosses, and then behind closed doors, it was actually something different. That was the front that they gave. So
Exactly.
I don't know if that's a pyramid. It's not a pyramid scheme, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't had enough coffee.
So back to Dr. Zita.
Okay.
In the 1920s, he found work in Hollywood as an extra in many Foreign Legion themed films.
Okay, makes sense with his accent.
Such as, he also claimed to be an advisor on movies such as Beau Geste, Geste, in 1926,
Okay.
Beau Sabois in 1928, Desert Song in 1929, Morocco in 1930, and Renegades also in 1930.
Who was the actual actors, like the starring role?
We'll get into one of them here in a minute.
Okay.
Good questions, Teach. However, these claims are all unfounded.
Well, yeah, of course there's no records that even,
He can say I'm on anything.
Yeah.
In the movie Renegades, he would also later claim that he was the stand-in for the main star, Warner Baxter. He was born March 29th, 1889, and died in May 7th, 1951.
Okay.
So a little background on Mr. Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably one of the original, in what they call the talkies, when they moved from silent film. He was probably one of the original megastars, if you would. At the second annual Academy Awards, he won the Best Actor Award for the movie Old Arizona in 1928.
Cool. So the Dr. Zita is conning people into thinking that he's something that he's not.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and so...
Which, if you're wanting to attract young women, I mean...
Who else
I work
better?
in Hollywood.
That's right. What better ruse than to say, hey, I've got connections.
Yes.
I can get you there.
Boy.
All this time doing this, then he would also travel to these small towns and pull his cons. Because he was here in Pampa in the 1930s, and these movies were in the late 20s.
Yep.
So he could say, hey, you can come back with me and...
I want to know how he picked Pampa. Unsuspecting little backwood town. That's how.
And we'll get into a little bit more of that, but he chose small towns for the gullibility of the people that lived there.
Yep.
So by the 1930s, he stopped calling himself Dr. Zita.
Okay.
And started calling himself Captain Zita.
Okay.
Probably to avoid the substantial amount of jail time he had racked up for running various cons.
So
and that's
gotten caught at some point in time.
And that's the whole 1920s of it, right? I'm going to stop being Dr. Zita, and I'll now be Captain Zita. They'll never know. Just boom, everything's changed.
That's probably what he thought too. Like, they're not going to catch on.
These people.
Two totally different names.
These people. During this time, he developed a popular vaudeville act. He appeared in small town movie theaters where he hypnotized pretty girls, like the lady that we had already talked about that he hypnotized for 48 hours. He would also cast horoscopes. He would foretell futures.
So he was into a lot of these things, huh?
He was. All to the audience of gullible.
Well, yeah, that's who pays
acts.
Money.
Yeah. And he also would hire
women,
just men or women, to sit in the crowd and pretend to, like when he's reading the future, okay, so in the past you blah blah blah, and they would, yes.
See, this is why I don't believe in any of that stuff.
Exactly. So there is a movie role that he is known for, and he is known to be in it.
Okay.
May I borrow your phone for just a second so I can show you a photo? If
Yeah,
you'll
I
just
can.
pull up Google.
Okay, well, I can Google it too.
Well, I know, but I wanna pull it up and just show it to you.
Okay.
This will
Okay,
just
can
take
you
me a
talk?
second. Yeah. So he did have a movie role
Yes, we've established that.
in a movie called Glenn or Glenda. It was directed by the famous Ed Wood, who was well known in the time for doing horror movies, for doing sci-fi movies, for doing weird movies, some exploitation movies.
Okay.
And so in the movie Glenn or Glenda,
I don't understand. Is it Glenn or is it called Glenda?
Glenn or Glenda is the name of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so it's like a split personality thing.
He plays the devil.
Ooh.
And here is the movie poster, and this is Dr. Zita as the devil.
Oh my gosh. That's creepy. No, that's nightmares right there.
So Teach just looked at the photo and set it down. I will be posting it on our Facebook page.
Don't do a black and white one.
Don't do a black and white one.
No, they need to see how really.
Truly evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was made for him.
I believe it was. And in the movie credits, he is listed as Captain Zita.
Captain Zita. Okay.
Yep. So George Weiss, who was a movie producer and produced most of Ed Wood's movies, would say of Captain Zita that made his living as a booking agent for strippers.
Well, I don't think he was well thought of.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
And this producer, George Weiss, described Captain Zita, Dr. Zita, as the most evil person I have ever met in my life.
Oh. I want to know more.
Well, there's going to be more. We're about to wrap it up for this episode.
Oh, so it's a two-parter?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but I'm going to try to, because I'm going to have to dig for some more information and stuff on him. And it may be something that we do with Nathan when he comes on and does an episode with us.
Okay.
Maybe get some more information from him.
Okay. I wonder if there's like a Hollywood archive or anything like that, like you could look up and...
Maybe so. I might get a hold of that guy that does the Hollywood graveyards.
And see if he's there.
Well, I know where he's buried. And I'm going to be listing that also.
Ooh, yes, you should.
Be like, man, can you get any information on this dude? Blah,
yes,
blah, blah.
maybe you can find it for us and we can watch it.
Exactly. He was married. One time.
That poor lady.
He married Lillian Acton on March 13th, 1913 in Wyoming, and the marriage lasted less than 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
That poor lady.
So that was not long after he had come to the United States.
He conned her into something.
He did.
So he was basically a 1930 pimp.
Basically.
Because that's what he was doing, right? For those strippers?
He was getting them jobs.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. He was
I mean, what they did after that, I don't know, but it's still like a pimp.
Absolutely. In 1955, at the age of 64, Captain / Dr. Zita / Dr. Orgler passed away in the Los Angeles General Hospital of lung cancer. So he is buried at Valhalla Memorial Park in North Hollywood, California, Section H lot 8606, space 6, curb number 8614. And if you go to look for him, there is no headstone.
Wow. Like, why does he not have a headstone? Is that creepy evil?
I think they were just like, let's just get him in the ground. And
then how do they, just from records,
from
that's
records,
where he's at?
yes ma'am, from the cemetery records.
Yikes.
So the information I got for my bibliography, website called deadtorights.com. Article is Ed Wood Wednesdays, the Glenn or Glenda Odyssey. Wikipedia.com or .org, information for the National Security League. Findagrave.com, William Michael Achilles de Orgler. And YouTube, the Hilson Hotel documentary by Nathan Withers Productions.
Nice.
And
Well,
so
I'm excited to learn more about this.
I do too. I am too. I do
con
too.
man pimp.
Yeah, there's we will come back and visit him some other time. I'm just gonna have to dig deep and find out the information. I hope that Morgan's memorial episode brought a smile to her face.
Absolutely did.
I hope that her husband Tyler, hey Tyler, shout out to you, buddy, and her mother Louise brings a smile to their face.
Definitely.
And know that Teach and I love y'all too, and we will forever be here for y'all.
Absolutely.
The whole Rhodes/Reagan family. And so that is it. That is Captain/Dr. Zita.
Well, I'm definitely interested in finding out more about this creepy dude. There's got to be some.
Maybe that would be an episode Teach could bring.
What? The creepy pimp dude?
The creepy pimp dude.
Okay.
Maybe.
I absolutely will try.
Yeah.
Because now I want to know. Yeah. I'm going to look him up. I want to know why he came over.
Yeah. Very cool. So what's my grade for this week, Teach?
I'd have to give you an A.
Yay.
I stayed interested. I mean, I'm always wanting to know more details, but if you don't have them, you don't have them.
Exactly. Hopefully, when we get together with Nathan, he can fill us in on some of the things that I couldn't find.
Absolutely.
All right, shaking up the bowl. We hadn't had to do this in a few weeks, so find out what I'm reporting on next week. Paranormal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is what we'll do for next week. We'll do some paranormal stories.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Class is dismissed.